Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and today, let's just take a moment, just a very short moment. How awesome is it that you get to be listening to this podcast wherever you are, driving, doing whatever you're doing, going to a job that you love? How incredible is it that you get that opportunity? Because not everybody has this opportunity, and I just want you to realize right now, today, you are living a dream that some people never even get to live. So I hope you high five yourself, give yourself a big smile. Just remember, you are living your best life. Congratulations. I hope you take a moment to celebrate that. So as always, thanks for being a listener. And please do us a favor, me personally, a favor. Go leave 5 stars. Go leave a review, whatever that looks like for you. Tag us on social media, but do something today to help us share Dental A-Team with millions of people in this world. It can be dental offices, it can be your friends, it can be your siblings, whomever it is. I try to do dentistry and life on this podcast. So please share it. Please tag us, because that's how you're going to be able to help us have a bigger ripple effect and serve and bless more people in this world. So if this podcast has blessed you in literally any way at all, please share with somebody today. It's my ask, and I really appreciate all of you who are doing it because your efforts are making a difference. We often don't think our one effort makes a difference. But what do you think that patient that you are serving in that chair thinks? That's one patient that you're making a difference for. It's one person that you share this podcast that you could literally change the trajectory of their life. So do it and know that I appreciate you. So I wanted to quickly hop on because we're doing book clubs this year. So I've got to catch up on 2 more books for you guys before I get into the correct month. And I'm trying to catch you guys up. If you haven't, January, it was Extreme Ownership. February was Atomic Habits. March was The Psychology of Money. So the reason I picked this book is because I think money and business and all of that is super fascinating to me, and to realize that there's actually a psychology of money is super fascinating to me. So I'm going to tell you guys a couple things. Feel free to have this as a book club in your team. Feel free to just have conversations. If you want to email me and pen pal about this, I would love it. This is a book club for you. And I'm trying to expand you guys in the 3 areas that I believe make up successful practices. And that is money, aka your financial health, because we've got to be profitable as businesses. Otherwise, we're not serving anybody. You as a person, developing and evolving you as a person, making sure you're living your best life. And then systems and team development. So I tried to pick books from all those different things. Extreme Ownership, that's about you as a leader. Atomic Habits, that's helping you get systematized in how to build systems in your practice and make them real. And now Psychology of Money is on the money financial part. So just know I've tried really hard to give you a smorgasbord of books that I'm reading along with you and then doing a book club on all of them. Again, I'm a little behind and I apologize. I will get back up to space because my goal is to release it for the month that we're in. So you guys know what month we're in and what book we're doing. So for April, it's comparisonitis, and I will release in May a podcast about comparisonitis. So you read it in April, and then my goal is the following month to do a quick review of it. That way it's kind of like you and I are book clubbing together. We're reading the book together, and then I'm able to come and have a podcast. Again, if you want to join us as our Dental A-Team family, let me know, right? And say, hey, I'm part of your book club. I'm really loving this. Or, hey, here's some books that you could add in. I would love to get your feedback because I am all about learning from the greatest minds out there, which I do believe is reading and podcasting. So the Psychology of Money. This is such an interesting one because there were so many things in there that I thought were great. So they said at the beginning, it's not about what you make and more of how you act. And so it was really interesting to think about different ways that just by my actions, I could become more financially secure. So say financial success is a soft skill. And I thought about that because I always thought of finances and money and being financially free as a tactical skill, but it's a soft skill because ultimately people make decisions irrationally, which radically impact their financial success. So they said, no one is crazy. And I loved that because you can think that you're crazy. And he said, our experiences in our early adult life is what shapes us about money. So luck and risk, he said, both are hard to measure. Life and roulette. And he said, never as good or as bad as it seems. And he said, it's crazy how luck and risk actually play a lot into our financial success. And he said, there are also a trap of like never getting enough, which I thought was crazy cool because he said, you get to the goal and then you keep moving the goalpost. He said, generating wealth and generating envy. Happiness is a result minus expectations. I loved that line. Happiness is results minus expectations. He said, enough is not too low. You can actually get to enough. And he said, it's insatiable to not have a level you can make. And so we've got to be careful with that. And he said, don't get attached to anything. He said, reputation, security, family, and love are not worth risking. And I thought that was such an interesting thing because I think that oftentimes we do have that insatiable desire to keep going, to keep evolving, to okay, I hit this level. What's the next? What's the next? But I'm not going to lie to you. That can get real exhausting. I'm that person. I'm like, all right, I hit that goal. What's next, Kiera? Get it together, sister. You got to keep freaking going. Otherwise, you're going to become some schmuck on the couch. Well, what's wrong about being a schmuck on the couch? Like, I'm tired. Can I not have a rest over here? So I really loved reputation, security, family, and love are not worth risking. So what are you risking by constantly moving that goalpost, constantly evolving? Is it your reputation? You can get real sloppy in your dentistry by trying to hit certain goals. Are you becoming unethical in your diagnosis because you're looking and chasing after a financial goal? I hope and pray you're not. And if you are, please do a quick reality check and realize that's not appropriate. I have to do a reality check on consulting. Am I still delivering awesome value? Am I still giving clients what they need? Or have I just become attached to numbers? Holy moly, I am definitely way off track if that's becoming it. I check myself and I have committed I will never, ever, ever, ever put financial above results for clients. Ever. I have to be delivering value that is worth the fee people are paying. Always. And I will never deviate from that. That is something that I am committed to. You could not convince me to ever cut corners or not deliver the best results for a financial goal. Period. My reputation, not worth risking. Not worth. There is no number that you could ever put that would ever suffice that. Period. To me, that's something I'm never willing to do. And I hope you're in the same boat. Security, don't risk it, guys. Don't do it. Family. So many people put their careers and their financial success above their families, and I watched them deteriorate. I was that person. And I'm super thankful that my marriage did not end. I'm super thankful that I was able to resolve and work through and make better. But man, that was rough. I think about my family relationships that I've given up. Honestly, if I look at it, why? Because I get more significance and fanfare and love from my job, which is serving a need of mine, than my family gives me. But is that something I'm willing to do? Maybe, maybe not. How can I get those needs met through my family? Because I really do agree with this. You may not. That's why it's a book club. There is no right. There is no wrong. It's just a talking point. Do you think your family or family relationships are worth giving up? Do you maybe work more at work because you get a need, love, significance, growth, fulfillment, more than you do at your family? Just a question. Could you change that? Do you want to change that? Just asking. And then love. I agree. It's very lonely without love in the world. I've been very lonely. I haven't had as many friends chasing my dreams and trying to hit the financial successes. Man, there's a lot of people that would be a lot more fun to hang out with. Some people don't like people, and that's okay. But I do think we all crave and want love in whatever way that is. And I agree. It's not worth risking that. So there was another point I loved thinking about: compounding. I remember sitting in, I think, 9th grade or 10th grade, Mr. Arnold's class, and he said, all of you should just invest, I think it was like $1 or $10 a month. And he's like, you guys will be millionaires if you start doing that. And I was like, yeah. I wish I would have done that. And he really said the secret is time with this compounding. He said, when things are intuitive, it's hard to do it. It's true. How hard is it? When things are intuitive, it's hard to just do it. And he said, good investments is to get good returns, not the highest ones. So, and then wealthy and how to stay wealthy. Ooh, I love this. He said, getting money requires risk. Staying wealthy requires humility and fear and frugality. And some of it is based on luck. So I really loved also through it is he said, to just like stay wealthy was a lot about what you think about other people thinking about you. It was such an interesting one. I don't know if you read it or if you didn't read it. The man in the car. Oh my gosh. He said, the man in the car paradox. He said, people want wealth and they use your wealth for admiration. He said, the Ferrari is impressed with the car, not the person inside. I thought that was so interesting. Think about it. We see Lambos and Ferraris and we see the car. We don't see the person inside. And yet that person bought it for the status of having it. I'm that person. I love cars. This one resonated with me so much because I had to check myself and say, They said, if respect and admiration is what you seek, it's not through money. So he said, wealth is what you don't see. This was such an interesting thing. He said, it's the car that you declined. It's the jewelry you declined. Spend money you have, not what you don't have. Rich is current income. Wealth is income not spent. It's the ability to buy more than you thought you did. Wealth is like working out. We can undo a lot with a few small things. There is strength to wealth to say no. It's hard to build wealth because we don't see it. And I really loved all of that. Again, this is all psychology. It's all those things. But on the flip side, here's Kiera Den's questions. If we work so hard, is it wrong to buy those things? Because there's another book that I really love that I don't think it's in our lineup this year, but it's super great, is Die with Zero. Totally interesting mentality of Die with Zero. And I'm obsessed with that book too. So it's interesting. It's two sides of the coin. Do you stack it up and do you build wealth? Do you spend money because you deserve it and you work so hard for it? And that's honestly the fuel that keeps things going. Because it's fun to look at a bank account, but it's also really fun to have these experiences. But I think you need to check yourself of why am I buying that car? Guys, I sat here because don't worry. A lime green Lamborghini sounds real fun and you can judge me or you can not judge me. And I actually don't care. I hope you love me and I hope you think, oh my gosh, Kiera, way to go. Love your dreams. Some of you might be like, seriously? She wants to drive a lime green Lamborghini? I don't know if I do. I think I do. And I actually wrote a thing because I just read the Psychology of Money book. And so I wrote it out. And I think it's important for any decisions we're making. Maybe your dream is a lake house. Maybe your dream is to travel. Like I used to have the dream to travel to all the 7 continents. Been there, done that. It was super awesome. I need another goal. I need something else that's going to fuel my fire to keep working hard. I need that why. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's tangible things. I think financials gets real weird because people all think we're judging. And guess what? If you're okay with that decision, no, you don't care what anyone says. For me, I literally have in my notes, Lamborghini. Why do you want it, Kiera? And I went through a whole thing. Why do I actually want a Lamborghini? And I'm like, well, because I really do love supercars. Like, okay, we're just going to take a little detour for you. It's a fun story. My family owns a family lawn business. So my whole life, since literally 2nd grade, I have mown lawns with my family. I had my little R&M enterprise, Rick and Melinda. That's my parents' enterprise. And I had my little lawn shirt and I mowed lawns. Well, take me to high school years. You can talk to my family. We mowed a church. And my brother and my dad used to make fun of me because I drove this green John Deere tractor. It was a riding lawnmower. And I mowed this huge area. And my dad and my brother would make so much fun of me. And they said, Kiera is Need for Speed, which is true. I may have had that lawnmower full throttle the entire time. And my dad was like, Kiera, you have to slow down. I'm embarrassed and I'm giggling. He's like, Kiera, you have to slow down because you're literally leaving like tire spinning marks. I would get those tires going so fast on my corners when I'm mowing this lawn. Just imagine Kiera sitting on a riding lawnmower. I hope you're all giggling because it's such a sight to see. It was embarrassing in high school with people like honking and waving at me as I'm like cruising on this big green John Deere tractor, cruising up and down. But literally, I have always loved speed. My dad said he saw He saw me get airborne one day on the John Deere tractor because I hit. Of course, it's full throttle. Kiera's mowing these lawns. Don't worry, it's a professional lawn mowing business. I did make my lawns look real good. I definitely would spin out here and there, and my dad would have to fix it with like weed eating and have to feather out that edge. But one time I did get a little airborne with this John Deere tractor because I was going so fast and I hit a tree root. Those tree roots are hard to mow over in case you're wondering. And I hit it going so fast that I did get a little air on that one. So looking back at Kiera on a John Deere lawn mowing tractor, it has always been a need for speed. In high school, my dad, he's a little prominent within our church community. Oh my goodness. I definitely drove a little faster than was probably reasonable. My brother's friend said, "Hey, Rhett, you should throw a baseball in the car because then you could say you threw a baseball going 100 miles an hour." Also a true fact, not funny, Jimmy, but my dad would get calls from people in the church saying, "Hey, Rick, we saw your daughter. She was doing 75 and a 55. Stop tattling on me, people." I mean, probably was it for my safety? The answer is yes. The rule in my family was if you got a speeding ticket, no car, period. My parents would take away the keys. And that wasn't enough to keep me. So when I look back, and the whole point of this is why do I want a Lamborghini? From the time I was little, from the time mowing lawns, from high school, I was driving my little Mazda Protege flying down the road. Not appropriate. There's a reason I need to get on a track. But that's why a Lamborghini is fun. It's not for the status. Would it be fun? Yeah, but there's supercars out there. There's Lamborghini, there's Ferrari, there's McLaren. I could talk to you all day long about cars, which people don't usually realize. Kiera Dent, who seems like she's this like cute little girl who talks to Andrew, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go to the track and let's drag and let's race and let's do it. And let's talk about NOS and let's talk about my goal is to be 90 in a rest home with Tiff on the beach with cotton candy pink hair with a jazzy with NOS. So when I look at why do I even want this is the whole psychology of money. That's why I think a lime green Lamborghini would be super fun. I'm always looking for the next fastest car. Why do I drive a Tesla? It was the next fastest car that could go so fast. And that's what I'm looking for. So when I look at it, I had to really assess, Kiera, are you wanting to buy a Lamborghini for status? And I'm like, honestly, I might be a little embarrassed to drive it. I'm not going to lie to you. That feels a little too flashy, but I do want to go to the race tracks and I do want to race it. And could I meet that need through maybe renting it and driving it? For sure. So when they talked about it of what is your reason for wanting it? Are you doing it for other people? Are you the man in the car paradox for the status and the admiration? Or are you doing it because you just love it? That I think is the psychology of money. And not justifying. I had to check myself. Am I justifying this decision? Guys, I haven't bought it. I don't know if I will. This whole conversation that I'm having came after reading the Psychology of Money book to really ask myself, why am I doing it? So going this, I love the tells you win. It said it's normal for things to fail. Most profitable things are due to the fail. Tells drive everything. He said, what do I do when people are going crazy? I keep investing no matter what. 22% of the time we are in a recession. What you do in the moments of chaos will determine 90% of your wealth. Isn't that nuts? What you do during the moments of chaos will determine 90% of your wealth. He was talking about Warren Buffett, and most of his wealth was created in very small amounts of time. It's crazy. He says, no one makes great decisions all the time. Most of the biggest fails will lead to the biggest thing. We need a higher cancellation rate. We only see the successes and not all the fails. Warren Buffett only made most of his wealth on 10 of the 400 stocks. That's nuts to me. So the biggest takeaway that I had from the book was under the freedom section, he said, happiness is the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. And it says, money allows you more time. Think and make good decisions. Spend most time in quiet and figuring out the solution. And then, oh man, one of the pieces that I loved was, he said, what you need sits just below your ego. Oh, what you need sits just below your ego. You will spend less if you care less about what other people think. And then I think the biggest piece, my biggest takeaway was at the end where he said that you figure out the game I'm playing. What's not the game everyone else is playing? What's the game you're playing? What do you want to do? And he said he wrote the mission statement out and then don't pay attention to anything else. So if your mission statement is like, I'm going to invest in stocks and bonds, or I'm going to build real estate, or I'm going to build my business, whatever it is, write it out and look at it. So when all these other opportunities or distractions come your way or things are chaotic, you've got your like, this is the mission I'm going, and you don't get off track. So I just really, really loved so many things about it. Like the stories we tell ourselves, the narratives that we're telling, the stories are the most powerful force in the economy. The more likely you want something, the more true it will be and the more you'll look for it. It's appealing fiction. I just loved so many of these pieces. And so I'm just curious, do you really think, here's my question I'll leave you with as a book club wrap up. Do you really think wealth is about psychology? Do you think people's minds and mindsets and what they're thinking and their ego and their decisions and their irrational decisions and their processes are actually what creates wealth? Or do you think it's luck? Do you think it's skill? What are your thoughts? I'm curious. Write me if you're interested, because this was one of my favorite books. Again, I am obsessed with the mind and creating wealth in ease for all of the people, everyone listening here. So I'm just curious, do you think it's the financial piece is truly so amounted to your psychology and how you deal? If you had any other awesome takeaways from this book, if you loved it, I'm super curious. Write me. I'd love to have a pen pal with you where we talk about this. Email me hello@thedentallyteam.com. I would love to talk about it. And join us next month, aka my next podcast, of Comparisonitis. If you're interested, another one of my favorite books. I think it'll be fun. I will do a little extra bonus one because we did read another book of Unreasonable Hospitality. So I will do a bonus book club on that one for you. But I'm really curious of what your thoughts were on the psychology of money. Did you write a mission statement? What did you implement from this? Do you really think it's that way? These would be questions I would be asking within my team, asking friends who have read it with me. You can email me. I'd love to hear. But I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I'm looking forward to hearing it. And I hope this, if nothing else, gave you some food for thought. What's your psychology? What are the things that are building your wealth? You don't have to be a doctor or an owner. You can build wealth as a team member. And that's why I was excited about this book, because I feel like it can be for both sides, the doctor and the team. All of us can build wealth. All of us have it. And it's psychology, which all of us have. All of us have a mind. All of us have ego. All of us have drive. All of us have friends around us. All of us are listening to different narratives and stories. So what are you listening to? And is it helping you get to where your financial goals are? Yes or no? As always, guys, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on the Dental A Team Podcast. And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.